Welcome to HR Unlock, the HR podcast that takes you on an exciting adventure through the world of human resources. I'm your host, Joha, and I have with me.
Kilichi. Hi, guys.
Hello. Thank you for joining us on another episode. Today, our topic is.
Diversity and inclusion. But we're going to speak about three key things that happen in our environments, which are ageism, colorism, and how we respond to disabilities in the workplace.
Yeah, I think that this topic is really broad, right? But we'll just try. But you see that colorism part? I like it.
You like it, okay? Let's dive in, guys. So let's define the terms. Let's define colorism, ageism, and disability. How would you
Okay.
define it, Jojo?
Colorism, I think it's basically discrimination based on your color, your skin color, right, or your skin tone. But I would say colorism in the workplace, according to what I've seen online, is a significant and sensitive issue that involves discrimination based on skin color or complexion, just like I said. And they said they are saying that it sort of intersects with racism and yeah.
Well, in our own context as Nigerians, right, we don't have two, like, multiple races in the workforce,
I think I
right?
want is more of beauty.
Our own is more of associating beauty with color, with skin
Yeah.
tone, and associating some key roles in the workplace to skin tone.
I would say first it is associating key roles to beauty, and then because we have sort of defined beauty as to a certain color, or we've attached beauty to a certain color, then colorism comes
Comes
up,
in, yes.
right? So you see people say, "Oh, for my front desk, I want a fair girl," right? And we all know that somebody is fair doesn't necessarily mean that they're beautiful, but I think it's also attractive. So that you're light skin, people believe that you are more attractive, or you're more presentable, and you want that person to now be at the forefront or at the front of your organization, right, to welcome people, right? So I
Like
think
client facing roles,
yes,
yes.
they would always pick them for client
People
facing roles.
also associate colorism with promotion. So, you'd see in certain, like, head of marketing or head of sales kind of roles, especially if the person's a female, you associate it with maybe the person is beautiful, and maybe the person, because the client facing role, sales and marketing can be client facing, and so some people associate people when they see females in that position with a certain skin tone, they associate it with, okay, that's why she's there. But what would you consider? Would you consider it also that fair people or fair ladies, like I'm saying fair, naturally fair people, not people that enhanced their colors, naturally fair people, are they taken seriously in the workplace?
I think that we can liken fair people in the workspace to how how they treat blonde girls abroad. Yes, so they kind of feel, even in school, right? Even
Yeah,
when it starts from when you're in school.
yeah.
For anything that involves a competition outside of school or something, they want to pick the fair girls. For the pictures of the school books, they want to pick the fair girls,
As queen
right?
of the interhouse sports.
Exactly, fair girls are the ones that will be
Yeah.
queens, right? It starts from even school. Then at the workplace, people look at you and say, "It's because she's fair. That's why she's that's why
Yeah.
she has the lead role, or that's why she was promoted," right? They don't necessarily think that you did anything. Just the way you look down on blonde girls and think that they're dumb,
Yeah, so
right?
I'll,
That's the
I'll
way you
say
have fair
something. You
girls.
brought something very important up about school. So I remember I asked a primary school girl, like, there were two dolls, right? Two dolls, Barbies. One was a Barbie. Of course, the color was a Caucasian color, and the other one was a brown doll. And I asked her, "Oh, choose one. Which one should I get for you?" And she said she wanted the Caucasian doll. I asked her, why do you want the Caucasian
What did
girls?
she
She
say?
said, it's finer.
It's more
So,
attractive.
so if you bring up school, right, do you think it's a bias from home, or that girl, I'm not sure, she lives in the US. So I'm not sure that there's any, I don't know. I don't know if I can't say she was programmed from the house, right?
So you
But
think
I
it's
can't
cool?
also, I can't also say maybe it's school as well. But I'm saying like she was too young. She was 5, but how did she know a
So are
fair
you
girl
saying
was
that
finer?
inbuilt, like just
Yes, historically, I think in sometimes we just, I don't know, we just you might, the child was not definitely groomed to know which one is finer.
fair enough?
Was not, I'm not sure,
I think the
but
right way to do, maybe perhaps we should bring a yellow ball and maybe a dark green ball or a brown ball and tell a child to choose.
okay. But that's a
They choose a
ball.
yellow
But
ball.
that's a ball. I'm talking about something with a face that has an eye and nose on it. Yes, so they're most likely going to.
So maybe
But that's
beautiful is
off.
not the word
Yeah,
that the child will usually say. It's just it's brighter.
it's
It's
brighter. Yeah. So,
attractive.
but if you want to bring historical data, or if you want to say historically, there are more Caucasian dolls. She has seen more Caucasian dolls. How about that?
Oh, fair
More
enough.
than she has seen black dolls. So representation matters as well. What are we putting out there in terms of toys, in terms of things that our younger ones can relate with or play with? What are we putting out there, which is very important. Then, because those kind of biases now form the adults that they become in the workplace, and will now form what they feel is beauty and what they feel is not beauty. But not necessarily forgetting that because somebody looks a certain way doesn't necessarily mean they have the knowledge, skill, or ability for that role.
I think as HR professionals, we should just focus, or we should try our best to ensure that we're focusing on the things that are important, right? And advise our clients and employers to do the
Yeah,
same.
yeah.
Because
Have
I've gotten
anti-discrimination policies
yes, I've gotten
and
requests where they
make
say I want
sure
the girl. The man even sent me the picture of the girl I sent as the front desk to him that
she's too dark for
that is this
this.
the person he videoed the girl unaware that is this the person you want to stay in front of my office?
Like,
And I was like, what is wrong? Well, she was the girl was really dark skinned and I don't know, but she
she was good at the role,
she
but
was good.
yeah,
She had worked as front desk. Okay, she had the experience, meaning that somebody else has taken a chance on her, or somebody else
yeah,
overlooked her
yeah,
skin color and
yeah,
gave her that chance, right? So she had the
yeah.
experience.
So anti-discrimination policies, making sure that we are very vocal on representation, prioritizing knowledge, skill, and abilities before skin tone should solve that problem of colorism. So now let's go to ageism. Right, ageism in the workplace. And according to a Wikipedia definition, it's a form of discrimination based on a person's age, typically directed towards older employees or younger ones. It can manifest in various ways and can have significant implications for both individuals and organizations. So please, let's start from the noise about Gen
I was
Z.
going to say that.
Oh Lord.
I was going to say that. Oh, they don't
Let
have
Gen
respect.
Z,
Brief.
please.
Don't suffocate us.
Don't suffocate. We the Gen Z.
Don't suffocate us.
Anyway, let's talk about how employers are always going after Gen Z. Like I remember when I was in University of Lagos, right? We had a lecturer that immediately he crosses the door, he would just say, if we say good morning, we just say, good morning, useless and unproductive generation.
No, that's
So we
funny.
were the quote and unquote, we were the Gen Zs of that time, but that was like an older generation getting at us. Right.
Yeah.
I feel we get our Gen Zs too much. Yes, I feel because when I think of it, like I was also young and I made some decisions that I'm not proud of at when I was in my early 20s or when I was in my yeah my teenage days. I made some decisions I'm not proud of. But I do think that we're giving Gen Z the grace as well to make their own mistakes in the
We're not.
workplace.
And I think is the beef for Gen Zs is mostly from I don't know. we have glorified suffering in the workplace too much. And no, so because and we also, so there is the respect part, right? That even comes from little things like greeting somebody or how you call a person at work. So you say hello James, you start an email with hello James, and you're like, that girl does not have respect, Mr. James.
Was your name not James?
Is your name not James? So I think it has also, our culture has a part to play, because we want like, why are you greeting your boss and bending down? Why are you greeting your boss and trying to do like this, do that? That is why you greeting your colleague, that is your senior colleague, and just bowing your head, right? Why are you doing that? Because the culture, but really, our work is work. A younger person can be very skilled or even more experienced than you. I
Yeah,
shouldn't
but
have to be bowing to you, but you want to come for Gen Zs now. I mean,
No, I'm not coming for Gen Zs, right? I'm just saying that wisdom is good. It's good to have wisdom, and as a young person, you might not have that wisdom, because wisdom, some level of wisdom comes with experience,
I
right?
agree with you.
Why I would say why I did, because if you were in a local government setting or a civil service setting, it'll pay you to observe the environment and play according to the norms.
The first issue is, why is that even there?
Because
Why is that even? It's not
it's
even supposed to be
you
a
can't
thing.
tear down institutions.
There is always going to be politics or whatever everywhere, but why our own is sort of based on cultural respect.
Yes,
and
culture
some
is not
kind
bad. Respect is not bad.
Sometimes we put culture, the respect so high
Yes,
above
give
the
Caesar what is for Caesar. No, give
KSA.
Caesar what is for Caesar, right? I'm not against culture or respect, and I think they should also know how to adapt to that. Gen Zs should know how to adapt to culture. And I'm not, no, no. I'm being honest here, because when I was young, right? When I was young, right? I know we're not in the same generation, or I'm not in the same generation as Gen Z. Even if I identify as a Gen Z, but yeah, I understand that we're in a very, our society demands respect, and it's very important to a lot of older people. So I would say for Gen Zs, my only advice in that sense is give Caesar what's for Caesar, right?
This,
Just play
this
according
topic
to
is
the
so funny,
rules.
because if I say,
However,
hello, Mr.
ha-
John, have I disrespected you?
no, 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 no. Forget about that one. That one is an email. That one is emailing
No,
setting.
in real life.
In real life, that's also okay. You've added the Mister, right? But what I'm saying is, if you are in a setting that demands you to, as a Yoruba girl, to kneel down to greet an elder, please do it. That's aside. That's aside my point.
So you know
My
how
point. My
people do extra things to get what they want, right?
extra
But I cannot just
things.
be
What do you mean
that
extra
you
things?
saying good
Like eye
afternoon.
service or
Yes, eye service. You doing all those ones. You have what you want. But me, I just came here to come and work. I don't really care much about your promotion or not. I know what I bring to
Girl,
the
it's
table.
called workplace navigation for a reason.
And
You
I
are
don't really.
navigating the you are
What if I don't want
navigating
to
the
navigate?
workplace.
What if I'm already in a tech role that I'm so indispensable, right? Or I'm so,
Oh God, Joy, you're taking
I'm in a
this
good
thing
tech.
where
I'm in
I
a
don't
tech
know. You are
role.
taking this discussion where I don't know.
I just want to say hello,
That
Mr.
is
John,
oh
and not be seen as
oh my
disrespectful.
God.
Because one other Yoruba girl came and knelt down and said, Eka Lesa at work.
So
Because
you are
she's
saying
older.
respect and tradition should stop at the gate of the work.
No, I'm saying people should not be criticized for it. Just because because I didn't play that part of politics does not now mean that I'm unwise. You said wisdom, right? It doesn't make me unwise.
Okay. That was
I'm
not,
always for Gen Z.
I was not even heading to that direction when I started this Gen Z conversation, but I hear you. I hear
Okay.
you. I'm
People
moving
always, I
on.
think
Moving
the only
on.
ageism in for Gen Z
Moving
is that
on,
they're
but let's go to the
unexperienced. They're
older people, because
inexperienced.
you've actually taken me where I didn't understand.
Oh, I'm a Gen Z. I'm sorry. I
No,
was going
no,
to
no.
defend us.
Actually, what I was even saying, yeah, cutting Gen Z some slack in the workplace would mean that, of course, it will demand some understanding from the older generation to understand where they're coming from. However, there is some sort of balance that needs to happen. And according to a survey by Fortune Insights, Gen Zs actually admitted to having gaps, skill gaps in the workplace. Skill gaps in terms of soft skills.
Like what?
Of course, because they are just being, that's their, when you entered your first job, did you know how to act? You didn't know how to act. So it's up to the older people in the workplace to help you navigate how things are done. And office politics that we usually like to blacklist is actually a thing that is important for everybody's growth. Social skills is actually a thing that is important for your growth in the workplace. If there is a certain way that will get you ahead in the workplace, be open minded enough to see how you can either navigate around those norms or be included or be more inclusive or be more open-minded on how you can embrace those norms to navigate the workplace. So it's wisdom on both sides. One side, older employees or older colleagues must look for a way to bring in the Gen Zs and show them how it's done in the workplace, how to navigate the workplace. Then on the other side of the Gen Z is there for you to be open-minded to see what the norms are and see ways to either navigate around those norms or in some cases see how you can either accept or see ways how you can advocate or change those norms in a respectful manner. Respectful is the underlying word for both people's ideals. So let's go to the older people because we can sleep on this Gen Z topic. We can sleep on it for the next 4 hours.
Oh yeah, no.
Let's go to the older guys, right? I think in the workplace we're not being fair to them. Baby boomers, however you want to call them, Gen X. I think we're not being fair to them.
To be fair,
Why?
they're almost at retirement age.
Joa,
One.
when you are in your 40s, when you are in your mid 40s or your 50s, are you really at retirement age?
Yeah, oh, I said almost. I didn't say they're at retirement age. They're
So-
almost at.
so they are not digital
I
natives.
suggest that they're already the job. They just try and keep it.
Oh,
And
they are not digital natives, Joha. They are not digital natives. How do you? Because you're already carrying this conversation to another place. They're not digital natives. They're not people that were born with technology as such. They had to adapt to technology. How would you have an inclusive work environment for them? So stay on this point, Mama.
how would they have? How would we have what
An inclusive work environment for those that are not digital natives, those that were not born with kind of technology that we have. What kind of ways can we include them in the workforce so that they don't feel left out? Because I want to
They can
imagine
be
that
included as mentors. They can be included as
board of directors.
board of directors.
Because
No,
their wisdom
seriously.
is still needed,
Yes,
right?
for every business, and I feel like it doesn't matter if you're a startup and or if you're an old company, right? For old companies, you need to have Gen Zs on your team, and for startups, you need to have a board with these baby boomers, right? I was at somewhere and the man was like, "You need experience, wisdom, and you also need innovation, right?" One person cannot just be innovating and just be going. The Gen Zs cannot just be saying, "Oh, we have a new way. We are tech guys," and they just be they will crash.
Yeah.
The other people too cannot just be stuck in their own old ways too because they will not grow.
Yeah.
For growth, the two need to be combined. So if you're ready for older companies that have existed for 40 years, it will make sense that you try
have
to
a
have
inclusive workforce. Yeah.
millennials, have the Gen Zs as much as possible. I'm not just saying have them in your staff, have them in places where you make decisions.
What about
right?
government parastatals? What would you say to them?
That one is a long topic. Oh. you know that you know that your future or your tomorrow future starts from when you're like 15.
Yeah.
That one is a different thing. But yes, I would
They start
encourage
their
that.
life in government.
I would encourage that the government also starts to
Prioritize.
having new people on board. I was talking to somebody from Ministry of, one of the ministries, and she was proudly saying, "We don't have email. Oh. We don't have email." You must print out like, "You don't like soft life. Why? Why don't people have email? Like, I cannot send you this hand because they came to come and do an inspection, so I can't send this to you via mail." So like, "No, you will need to go and print it out too." I said, "Why? By now," I was like, "Auntie, you don't like soft life. Why?" I was surprised. So you people need
You don't
to,
like soft
yeah,
life.
you need to
Soft copy is that soft life, Joa.
life. So they need to, for every business, old businesses, you need young people. Young businesses, you need old people in your board. That's the only way that you can scale, and that's the only way that you can grow. I think that we need to focus on the inclusion. HR professionals, you need to also advise, advise your clients to.
Yeah, so I'll say age diverse leadership is very important. So, like you said, a mix of the experience, the wisdom, and the innovation,
Yeah.
right? So, age diverse leadership is very important in the workplace because times are changing and things are becoming very, very, very. We have a more sensitive workforce. We have a more we have a more volatile business environment. We have a more uncertain business environment. We have a more complex and ambiguous business environment. So it's always good to have an age diverse workforce and make sure that you are tapping into everybody's strength in the workplace. Let's talk about disability in the workplace. Disability is an important and multifaceted topic when it involves inclusion, accommodation, and support of individuals in the workplace.
So first of all, I don't think that our country accommodates disabled people or supports them or even includes them in the workplace enough.
Yeah.
And I would say that, like, I mean, for example, when you go to supermarkets, the banks, especially the banks, general public places that should be accessible to the general public. How many places have the wheelchair, the stairs or the slope for people with wheelchairs to access the places? How many of those places do they even think of people that are disabled, right?
Yeah.
The bank, those doors, how many of the doors can you push a wheelchair through successfully?
Yeah.
You can't even do it, right? So now let's talk about, can you even have somebody on a wheelchair working in a bank? Except there's maybe perhaps a back access door.
Yeah.
Okay, but what about the customers? So generally, I don't think that
Yeah.
we have a problem including people,
So like general
disabled people.
accessibility of work
Yeah.
environment is also very important.
Yeah.
I agree.
So that's
Yeah,
that's
then-
my own take on it. I don't think we do enough.
Yeah, so then what about people that their disabilities are not even physical? How do we include them? Because
Like people with ADHD.
yes, dyslexic, ADHD people,
We call them Olodo.
autistic people. How do we include them? Do we have even our interview processes? Are they inclusive
Sure.
in terms of for those type of people? Do we even ask about if they have any disability so that we can sort of tailor things to them, even in the workplace, tailor certain roles to them? Because if someone doesn't have the ability to do a good job on a role, then it becomes a problem for them to either be promoted or even deliver value to the company. So
Yeah.
how do we include those ones? I think from the beginning of the interview process or the process of bringing in employees, you should do like you should ask those questions at least.
I think first of all there is an awareness issue,
Okay.
right? A lot of people do not know that amongst us we have people living with ADHD. We have there are even autistic people. You just people are just like just the guy is weird. So call them weird. From the interview, you're like, I'm asking you something. Why are you answering another thing? Already, it's already failed. The person does not know. You said you see the person's CV and you're like, the guy was not. He didn't even match the. We're not aware of the reality of these issues. I think the first step is to do an awareness for HR professionals. How many HR trainees do we even have them train us about these disabled people, right? How many of them are tailored? How many of our trainings are tailored to address kind of issues?
Yeah.
Not really. We don't have those kind of trainings
Yeah.
a lot. And I think the first issue that we should tackle is awareness. And then from there, we can now start to talk about, how can we include these people more? What can we do? First of all, we are living in denial or something. We're not even, a lot of them have not even been diagnosed. We don't even know that we have all these things. All we just know is that we're not promoted. Or we're Olodo. We carry last in school. We carry this.
Yeah,
We fail
so there are
jam.
people
We
that are
fail
not,
WAEC.
that don't even know that they actually have ADHD or those autistic, or if they are autistic as adults because they were
Yes.
not diagnosed. And I agree with you on that. How about mothers in the workplace that have disabled children? And sometimes it becomes a productivity issue because and some even have to resign their jobs, honestly. There are
So they can
that-
focus more on the kids,
that
right?
mothers that cannot juggle those. How are we going to do we need to also have create ways to ask our our workforce, our parents, especially mothers, do we need to create avenues to ask them, okay, do you want to declare? Do you have a child? Sometimes it might feel like it's a
It's too much
privacy, yes,
information.
it's a privacy issue. So do we want to get that inclusive?
I think that to even consider that we have an issue when it comes to our benefits and how we tailor benefits, right? A lot of when we're talking about inclusion, what do we do? I think we don't even include these people in the benefits that we do, right? In the benefits. So for what you're saying now, right? And a benefit that a company can have to give to that kind of mother would be maybe a close early, right? It can be, it doesn't have, can be a flexible work hour that allows you to have time with your child and
Yes,
then,
yes,
but
yes.
if we're not looking for how to tailor benefits to individuals in the work, we might not be able to know how to. First of all, there's no issue. You don't know the issue, right?
Yeah.
So you can't even tailor a
To
benefit and
being
you can't
concerned
help.
to even ask a parent,
Yeah.
do you have a child with a special need? Going that fine, asking that question is also important, right?
Yes, that's. I mean, that would come up when, if you have a comes and benefits specialist, or, what they call them these days,
Yeah.
analyst, or in your office who would do like a one-on-one discussion with all your employees
Knowing where
and
they're
know,
at, yeah.
what is important to them, and that's the only way you can now find out this mother that has or this person that has maybe been diagnosed with this kind of disability, and then you can now tailor a benefit to
What about
that person.
psychometric testing in the workplace? What about therapists and
Yeah, we should
and
embrace that more. Some companies are already doing that. A lot of companies do that now. Part of they have like therapies that people talk to. They also do. I know a company that does mental health day where nobody works, right, on that day. They just and they do it
shut
per
down?
department, right? So I think it's once every 2 months or something like that where nobody works. Everybody just takes care of their mental health. Sometimes they even go on Teams calls to just gist the whole
Yeah.
day, and that kind of relaxes the
Yeah,
environment
yeah,
for them.
yeah.
And then I
I
think
think
it's a
COVID-19 also heightened the awareness in some sort of mental health and the workplace.
yeah.
I think that's just one of the things we benefited from, the pre or post rather
Yes,
post
COVID-19
COVID-19
also helped
era.
us to embrace flexibility as
And
the
yeah,
real, like
yeah,
flexible work hours
yeah,
as, a real
which
thing.
also helps the work-life balance and mental health of employees. All right, we have to wrap up our discussion. I'm sure you would have enjoyed our discussion on ageism, colorism, and disability. If you want us to have a second run, let us know in the comment section, because I don't think we did justice to the colorism and ageism topic, and especially we couldn't touch too much on the as much as we would have loved to on disability topic. These topics are broad, and we understand that it might be we might have to have like dedicated time for these topics. Would you agree, Joha?
Yes, and I think we should consider bringing in, specialists in, these topics to
Yes.
enable us delve deeper into it and
Yes.
into details, because I think it's something that has been overlooked, right? And we just need to,
Yeah.
talk
So
about it some
thank
more.
you, thank you for listening to our podcast and watching HR Unlock. And we hope you would drop a comment or like our video. And we appreciate good feedback. Whatever feedback you have for us, please also comment.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. And we're
Until
signing
next
out.
time.
Bye.